Hello everyone and welcome to the AFL Round 2 wrap, talking about all the highlights and lowlights of Round 2, starting with Thursday night, where Richmond tied Collingwood 36-36, and the match also achieved the best TV audience on home and away season primetime footy, achieving 1.25 million viewers. The reason why the match was low scoring was mostly because of the shorter quarters, which the AFL have 20-minute quarters reduced down to 16, stoppages not included. In the match, Collingwood was solidly in front until about 2 or 3 minutes before three-quarter time, where the game became close. Collingwood leading by 2 points at three-quarter time, 34-32, only 6 behinds, 4 to Richmond, 2 to Collingwood, made a slow, gritty fourth quarter, ending in a draw. A message from this round comes through as the third quarter is usually the quarter that wins a game. On Friday night, Geelong thrashed Hawthorn in GMHBA Stadium by 61 points, 108-47. That's 17-6 to 7-5. The match was relatively close between the two sides until the third quarter, where Hawthorn only got 1 goal compared to Geelong getting 6 goals. The standout player was Brian Myers with 20 disposals, 65% disposal efficiency with disposals, and 3 goals, no behinds. He's only 21. He's a rising star of AFL. If he continues to play like that, well, who knows where he's going to go. Ablett was also handy with 2 goals, 21 possessions, 21 disposals, with a disposal efficiency of 76%. Sam Menegola also with 23 disposals at 65% disposal efficiency, 10 contested possessions, spent 30% of his time in defence as a midfielder. A good effort from him. Following match on Saturday was the first game of the day, was Brisbane versus Fremantle. And Freo, just like their game against Essendon, they stuffed towards the end. 12-9-81 to 10-9-69 the result. Third quarter was what won the game for Brisbane, as well as that poor finish from Freo. For Brisbane, Charlie Cameron got 4 goals and spent 92% in the offensive half, playing a key role in executing goals for Brisbane. Brisbane also won the hitouts contest 37-21. Both teams spent exactly the same time possession. Brisbane won it 39% to 12 versus 12% in the last 10 minutes. Proving my earlier point about sloppy AFL footy towards end of games for Freo. Melbourne versus Carlton was a 1-point victory to Melbourne. A good job from them, able to consolidate and defend off the last 2 minutes when Carlton was desperate for that, winning. 53-54 was a fairly low scoring game. Melbourne were winning 32-0 at quarter time. The third quarter again came into play for Carlton and almost won it for them. Carlton had 48 inside 50s for the whole match compared to 40 for Melbourne. So Carlton will learn that if they make the most of their opportunities, they can win games. And a great performance from a team that would usually get a wooden spoon for the past 10 or 15 years. Before that, they were great. Is this a year for a comeback? Just Gold Coast. Onto the match, Gold Coast v West Coast. Gold Coast have their first win since round 4 2019. This is amazing, and it was a thrashing, 90-45. The Eagles have stuffed up, which was certainly unpredictable. A young player called Matt Rowell scored 2 goals for Gold Coast and certainly lifted his team. He kicked his first career goal to put the team in front 2 minutes before half-time. Both Saturday night games were thumpings in the showdown. Port Adelaide thrashed Adelaide 17-8, 110 to 5-5-35. Port Adelaide did especially well because of their accuracy in front of goal. Port Adelaide's younger players were very good, and Stephen Motlop, former Geelong Cat, plays Power, made a brilliant mark. Dersma, Dixon, Westhoff all scored 3 goals for the Power. Making things worse, Adelaide have 2 injuries, Jake Kelly to concussion and Rory Sloane on the legs. How will Adelaide adapt with this? I'm not sure. Also, if this video gets 50 likes by the end of July, I'll do an AFL audio broadcast. If it gets like 1,000 views in this month, then I'll also do an AFL audio broadcast. I will be busy between July 3 and July 20, so it won't be between those dates. It'll be somewhere before or after. Now on to Sunday, and I'm joined by a guest over the phone. GWS Giants 8-12-60 to North Melbourne 12-8-80. What do you think about this game?
Well, obviously, North Melbourne over the line by 20 points. They played 51 hitouts to the goal. What do you think about it, Ethan?
Yes, I thought North Melbourne were very electric towards the end. I mean, it was, again, the third quarter where North Melbourne did win, but it wasn't as much of an effect as we were talking about it. But It was the fourth quarter that was more effectful. Not saying the third quarter was useless, but fourth quarter was huge. It was 40-44 at three-quarter time, turned 60-80.
Yeah, well, over at the SCG, we had the Swans versus Essendon. Essendon winning 12-7-79 to 11-7-73. Jake Lloyd was equally best on ground with Zach Merritt, both kicking a goal and having 29 touches. What do you think about that game, Ethan?
Yes, well, I think Smith's been quite strong as well. He had 13 kilometres covered on ground. That's impressive, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, and the other one was Jake Lloyd had 13 kilometres well tracks. That's very good from the half-backman.
Lloyd's known for very good, and I love when BT calls out his name. Lewis Taylor with 3 goals. Good job from him. His possession heat map suggests that he's generally on the offensive half, working on the right side of the field, trying to push goals in. And he's had 10 kicks, 2 handballs, 3 contested possessions, and 9 uncontested possessions, 4 turnovers, 1 intercept possession. Is 3 goals, 1 behind, 4 score involvement. So good from him, 7 pressure acts.
Yeah, and Ethan also there on that note, Tom Buckley makes and also 3 goals, so it's a very good day out.
Well, one thing I have to say here is Anthony McDonald-Tipungwuti had 3 goals, and that certainly got his team up and running. It was a good effort from him, and he's just so impressive. Spending 85% of time in offensive half, he's hanging on the left side of the field, and has been involved in 4 turnovers and 2 goals. Well, that's pretty impressive. 14 pressure acts and 122 metres gained for his team. Well done from him. Next game.
Yeah, so the other game we had the Saints v the Dogs over at Marvel Stadium. The Saints clear winners in that game. Not much to say. Jack Billings, probably best on ground. 3 goals, 24 disposals, 5 tackles and 4 marks. So, yeah, good start to his season in the second half.
It was the second and third quarter that won it for St Kilda there. They were only ahead by 7 points, I think, at quarter time. It wasn't very much, and that second and third quarter was the effect. But every time a team's won, it has something to do with the third quarter. That message keeps coming through. What are we going to tell the AFL about this? What are the coaches going to learn from this?
And Ethan, also on that note, I think that might be the shorter quarters. Teams running out in the second half. I'm not too sure, but that might have an effect on it.
Well, another player that probably the announcers haven't talked about in this game was Zach Jones with 26 disposals. Very, very good job from him. And he also had a goal. Now, one thing I will say about the shorter quarters is it's definitely affecting the AFL because you all of a sudden have to deal with that cut. And it's like, what am I going to do now?
We got the Port Adelaide Power on top, who've won both their teams quite comfortably. Second, we've got North Melbourne. Third, Essendon. Fourth, we've got Collingwood. Fifth, Richmond. Sixth, St Kilda. Seventh, Geelong Cats. And eighth, GWS Giants. That concludes the top 8. Going into just below the top 8, we've got Sydney and Gold Coast. Gold Coast obviously winning over West Coast, which might have bugged your tips up a bit for the week. Number 11, we've got Brisbane. 12, West Coast, obviously losing to Gold Coast, affecting them a fair bit in percentage as well. 13, we've got Hawthorn. 14, Melbourne. 15, Freo. 16th, Carlton. 17th, Adelaide. And sitting on the bottom, we've got Western Bulldogs, who've been very disappointing.
The Eagles at 12 is a bit of a shocker for me. What is actually interesting is that Gold Coast are at 10 and Brisbane Lions at 11. And both teams look like they're showing a lot more intent than a 10 or 11 team. They're looking like they're showing attitude towards a 5th or a 6th team that'll make the finals probably. So what I'll see from West Coast is I don't think they're going to be number 12 for the rest of the season. I think they're going to go up because I think Gold Coast and Brisbane after lockdown have managed to perform very, very good quality AFL football. Also, got a question for you. AFL without crowds. What do you think about that? And they had 2,240 people at the showdown. Do you think it's good to have crowds at the AFL?
So, Rona restrictions opening up a bit and we have a few crowds getting let in. I don't mind a bit of the crowds. Without the crowds, it's a bit boring. Probably could add in the crowds there. 25,000 at the G they're looking at. Doesn't sound too bad.
Do you enjoy Channel 7's fake crowd?
Oh, it's alright. It adds a bit of an effect, but not much. You'd probably prefer the normal crowd as a viewer.
I agree. You just look at the ladder and it's just going to change because it's only round 2. And in June, you're usually used to saying, oh, it's round 6 or round 8 or whatever it is at June. And you're like, well, this team's good. But who's coming up next week that we'll be excited about? Richmond v Hawthorn on Thursday night. That'll be a ripper. Bulldogs Giants, I think. Can Bulldogs prove themselves in their home deck? And then North Melbourne, Sydney, Collingwood, St Kilda, Geelong, Carlton, Brisbane v West Coast. That'll be interesting. Saints v Collingwood will probably be quite an interesting clash. That'll be a Saturday twilight game at the MCG. And didn't that used to be the Queen's birthday game of some sort? Was that the Anzac game or no? Collingwood Essendon's Anzac.
The Anzac games are Collingwood v Essendon. The Queen's birthday game
was either Collingwood Melbourne or Collingwood St Kilda, either the two.
Collingwood Melbourne. That's the one.
Yeah. But
the big threes.
Yep. So I can't wait for this next round, and it looks like because they've been given teams that they're traditionally used to doing bad against certain teams, but they're not actually bad teams. So it's a bit like that.
On the other thing, the Hawks v Geelong game was a bit disappointing, wasn't it?
Yes, it was very, very one-sided. 61 points.
Given up after the second half.
Yeah, and that was a bit of a disappointment. Yeah, for them.
And Geelong, said, the third quarter, they just really ran over.
And both WA teams are out of the top 8 as well. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's listen to this legend.
Please remember to like, favourite, and subscribe. It really helps out the channel.